Kia ora everybody. Today we're going to take a look at the mirroring option available to you with your ActivConnect G series. First we'll take a look at the how-to side of things, and then we will have a look at some practical ideas for using it in the classroom. By default, you should have this little icon here that I'm circling, ActivCast, on your shortcut menu here. If you don't see that for whatever reason, if somebody's removed it or it's not there, then you can still access the ActivCast app, and you would do that in one of two ways. You could use this button down here, so I'm circling on the bottom left hand side. There's a circle with like a window or 4 squares in it. If you tap on that, what it does is it opens you access to all of the apps that are currently loaded onto your ActivConnect. Now that might be the preset loaded ones or ones that you've downloaded from an app store yourself. And if you go to the top icon here, so I'm circling that, the speech bubble with 3 dots, it opens you the communication apps, and you can see ActivCast there, and I could launch ActivCast from there. The other way I can access all of those apps, instead of using that button, whoops, let me go back, you do a little side swipe from the left hand side, okay, and here are all the different categories, and again it's that top category that you're looking for. So I can open ActivCast from there. If I have ActivCast missing from this shortcut wheel here and I want to put it back onto my shortcut wheel, it's super easy. All I have to do is hold down in the middle of the circle there. This box pops up and I choose add a bubble. Okay, and then I'm going to choose generic app, and you can see ActivCast is there, so I would just select that and it would pop it on the toolbar there for me. Okay, so let me open the ActivCast app and we'll have a look at the screen. Once it's opened and the screen is up, you can mirror any device now. Let's just take a little look at the screen and see what we have here. So over here where I'm circling, this is the name of the device. Now by default it will be called something gobbledygooky, but if you just tap on it, it'll open you a keyboard, and of course you can delete and rename from there. It's also important to notice the Wi-Fi network that you're on underneath. All your devices that you want to mirror need to be on the same network. Now it doesn't matter if that's a branch of the same network, so you've got a student and a teacher network, as long as they're part of the main network, that will work. I believe that's called bridging the network. Okay, now over to the left we've got a QR code, and also underneath that there's a 9-digit code. These are options that I'll go through with you later. Please don't think that you're going to be able to use a normal QR reader. It's not for that purpose. I'll go through it in just a moment. Okay, so if you have any computer that you can load or run the Chrome browser on, so that would be Chromebooks, Windows, whether that's Surface Pros or laptops, or even just the old desktop sitting at the back of the classroom, and in fact Mac notebooks, as long as you can put Chrome on it. There is a Chrome extension called ActivCast. It's free, of course. You could use the ActivCast extension to mirror to the ActivPanel. If you have a Mac notebook or an iPad or an iPhone, you can use AirPlay straight off the bat. If you have an Android tablet or a phone, or for Windows computers who don't want to use the Chrome browser for whatever reason, then you would go to the Promethean support site and you would look up, let me show you it in fact, there we go. There's our Promethean support site. Let me just scroll down. You're going to wireless presentations, ActivConnect G series, that's your little Android box, and if you scroll all the way down on the bottom left hand quadrant there, software downloads, there's a little 8 meg file called ActivCast, and if you load that onto your Windows computer or your Android device, it basically gives you a little app that would sit on top of your desktop or in your folder of apps, and when you click on it, it brings you that up, and it's that little ActivCast symbol that was on our wheel right there. Now if you're using an Android phone or an Android tablet, when you tap on ActivCast, you have an option to use the QR code on the screen. So it'll say, do you want to use the QR or do you want to use the code? So that's where, provided your device has got a camera, you can scan that code and it will mirror for you instantly. Okay, if you don't have a camera on the tablet, or you choose to type the code in instead, and the code is only the digits, you don't need to add the hyphens there, it will be remembered for the next time. Okay, so this code is specific to My Connect. So if you've got students going from classroom to classroom and the teachers have got different connects, obviously they're going to have different names up here. They will have different codes down here as well. So the students may be required to type their code back in. That's something I haven't actually tested, but I know that it does remember it for the last one that you were on. If you're using the Chrome extension, you also need to pop this code in. So if you're using the Chrome browser to do your mirroring through with the ActivCast extension, that is the code that you need to do. Okay, well, I'm actually on a Mac computer, and I'm going to show you a few different scenarios, and we're going to start off with using my Mac notebook. So I have AirPlay on my Mac notebook, so it's as simple as me going to AirPlay. There we go. So I went up to my AirPlay symbol and I found that one. Okay, and I'm mirroring to my Connect. So the scenario is that maybe on my computer or the student's computer there's a document that I need to share or wish to share, or they need to share or wish to share, and it's fantastic. We can obviously mirror like this and instantly see the document or the piece of work. But what's even better is that with my ActivConnect tools, I have this button here. Okay, this one on the left that I'm sort of circling, that is going to take a snapshot, a screenshot, and let me annotate over it. That's what those symbols on there mean. So I'm going to click on that. It's taken me that snapshot, and you can now see down the right hand side here, I've got a little toolbar. So I've got the pen selected. If I tap on the color there, which can be sometimes hard to see because it's black on black, I can choose a different color, and I can also choose a different fatness of pen if I wish to, and I can circle or annotate, make notes on top of this document. If I need to erase something, I could choose the rubber here or the eraser there, or I could erase everything. Okay, let me just put some annotations, annotations back so that we can actually see something. Okay, and you'll notice down here there is a save symbol, the old hard floppy disk. If I click on that, it tells me in the middle of my screen it's saving to gallery. I'm going to exit out of this view with this X button on my little toolbar there, and then I'm going to pop back to my home screen. Okay, so this is all looking very familiar. I've stopped mirroring my computer now, and I'm back to my home screen, and that is so that I can take you and show you the gallery. So this is the gallery here. It's the hot air balloon symbol. Okay, and oops, I've chosen to show it in a little bit of an unusual way. There we go. I'll just find, there's our document that we just created. Okay, now it's cool that I can bring that back up if I want to, and it's cool that it's saved it there to my device. But what's even cooler is that when I tap on it up here, I've got this little symbol that I'm just sort of circling around at the top there, that little connected sort of icon. You can see it fades away. To bring it back, I just tap on it again. If I click on that, this box opens, okay, and depending on what apps I have loaded onto my ActivConnect already, it gives me the options of how I can send that out. And I'm going to share this back to my students. I'm going to do it just once with my drive, and then what I'm actually going to do is back on my let me just pop to mirroring again. Sorry, there we go. And back on my notebook, my Mac notebook. Let me just refresh this because it was open before. It's always the way when you're doing something live, isn't it? I tested this before and it worked beautifully. Let me go back and just do one more time. Oh, that's why. It gives me the option to rename things. So let's rename that now as, we'll call it notes. And I'll push save. And now, if I pop back out to mirror, and I'll just mirror my laptop. There we go. There's our notes JPEG sitting there in my Google Drive. And of course then I can share that with whoever I would like. Okay, so that is one scenario that might be quite useful. So where I'm trying to share something off my own computer, or the students have a laptop, it's very easy for them to connect. The second scenario, one of the beautiful things about the ActivConnect G series is that it's Bluetooth compatible. So if you have little peripherals such as Sphero robots, little Bluetooth robots that you can use in a coding scenario, which is what we'll have a look at in a moment, or a Bluetooth keyboard, musical keyboard, or a lab sensor. If there are apps involved, you can load those apps onto your ActivConnect, and of course you can then model that on your screen. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually mirror one of my students' iPads, because in reality I think the power is less in the modeling and more in the feedback and the collaboration side of things. So my students actually have Sphero robots out in the classroom. There might be 3 or 4 of them if I'm lucky enough, and the kids have got this little app going here, and they are adding, as we can see, they're adding little options here. Okay, how fast I want this to go, what direction or what heading we want it to go in, and so they can be building the code on their app on their iPad. So what you're seeing on the screen at the moment is the student's iPad. Okay, and of course we have our lovely option to annotate over that, and I'll choose maybe this color pen, and it might be that we're looking at a specific line of code and making notes about that, or there's a particular part of the coding that the kids have worked really hard to crack, and they're sharing back with the group. So of course we've got that whole being able to annotate over the top of it, being able to make notes if we want to, and of course save those notes. I won't bother doing, oh yes I will, might as well save those to gallery, and I can exit out of there. Okay, and then I'm back to my live desktop again there. Okay, it'll tell me there's no robot connected this afternoon. Okay, Another scenario that we might have set up, again using my iPad, so I'm going to come into ActivCast, and perhaps I've asked my students a question, an open-ended question in maths, and in this instance, sorry, I'm just setting my iPad up here. Oops, don't want that. There we go. Apologies, it's not playing ball. Let me turn that mirroring on first and then I'll worry about the camera. What I'm going to do is perhaps I'm roaming around the classroom and I have asked the students to use their play coins or their play money to show me how they would show $1. And I see some interesting answers. So with my camera tool on my iPad, don't know why that's going, I don't want it to be that, I can turn on my camera tool. I've got live photos there, as you can see. I could take the photo if I wanted to, or on my screen, on my, oops, I should have this over where I can reach it. There we go. I can take a photo of the screen like so, and we can see an interesting scenario here. So the student has done something quite perhaps ordinary here. They've got their 40 cents and their 60 cents, and they've shown 40 plus 60 makes 100 or $1. And down here we can see a $2 coin and two 50-cent coins. So I asked them to explain their thinking here, and the students have said, well, what I'm saying is $2 take away $1 is $1 or whatever. So it allows you to have that lovely on-the-spot sharing if the kids have got physical materials or things like that. Another scenario, maybe I have a kindergarten class and I'll just bring this up. Oops, come on iPad. There we go. Yesterday we used Play-Doh and our letter of the week is B, and so the kids made B's out of the letter B out of Play-Doh. And of course I can use my annotate over desktop, and I might use blue this time, and I might use the fattest pen, and it might be that I'm using their photos from yesterday. So they made their Play-Doh B, they used the iPads to take a photo of it because we were learning how to use the cameras on the iPads perhaps, and today I'm now using that, and over top of it I can now write with the correct letter formation. So we can be looking at that. It might be an introduction to our handwriting lesson, or we might use this as the base for a brainstorm where the children are telling me all of the words that they can think of that begin with B, boy, and so on. I could then save that, I could then print that. That might become part of a wall display, or it might become part of an alphabet folder or an alphabet book that we're compiling in the class library. So hopefully you can see that it's quite a versatile tool. I love the annotating over top. I think it takes it to another level. It's great to be able to mirror. We can all probably mirror in many different ways in the classroom, but I think that annotating over top really extends the learning opportunities available with mirroring. And the idea that you can then save those to the gallery and access them, push them out back to the students is really exciting. So hopefully you've seen something today that will be helpful to you. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.